Bass guitars come in a variety of different styles and looks, as you can see. Deciding which one is right for you is kind of a long process. You're going to want to play a number of basses before you really decide which one you want. A couple of things to look out for. Probably the most common style of bass for a beginner would be something like this, the Fender bass. They're very ubiquitous. They've been making instruments for over 60 years in the US. The most common type of Fender bass for a beginner would be the Fender Squier bass. This comes in two models, the P bass, or the precision bass, and the J bass, or the jazz bass. This is an example of a Fender jazz bass. Really typical looking bass. You'll see these in all styles of music over the last 50 years. However, some people are more into slightly exotic instruments. There are companies like Yamaha or Ibanez, or in this case we have what's called an F bass. As you can see, it's a little bit more fancy with the headstock and things like that. You'll also notice that this bass has more strings. This one has 5 strings, whereas this one has 4 strings. One interesting thing about the bass guitar is it comes in a variety of string numbers. So the most common would be 4. 5 would probably be the next common, but you can also get a 6, 7, all the way up to 16 or 17 strings on a bass. It goes pretty high. You'll probably want to just start with 4. That's the most common, and that's what these lessons will be centered around, will be the 4-string bass. Probably the most important thing, other than the way it looks, which is quite important, is just that it feels good. That while you're playing it, it's not too heavy, your hand sits on the fingerboard well, it's comfortable to hold. These things are quite important because you're going to be spending a lot of time with the instrument. It's also helpful to bring somebody with you who can help you decide on something, somebody with a little bit more experience, something like that. And if possible, try to play the instrument before you buy it. Buying instruments online can be really nice, but even if it's the same model of bass, each individual instrument will feel and play slightly differently just because of the way they're made. So if you have the opportunity to play something before you buy it, always try to play it before you buy it. So yeah, the Fender P bass would probably be the best thing I would recommend, but if you're looking for a little bit more adventure, something like an Ibanez or a Yamaha would be the two that I would recommend for a beginner.